Okay, B'Shut Kala Kadosh, everybody welcome. Be'ezrat Hashem, Hashem may give us barachat, tzlacha, briyut. Thank you for sponsoring. Yura Dichkanov. Be'ezrat Hashem should give him a Kadosh Baruch Hu barachat, tzlacha. Ben Eliezer, there's many Yura Dichkanov. I have to make it specifically. Thank you very much for Yaakov Ben Asher also sponsoring the shiur. Be'ezrat Hashem, on the merit of the shiur, Gemilut Chasadim, kindness. May Hashem bring all the kidnappers back alive with the tranquility, with the peace. All the kids, the ladies, the elderly. Be'ezrat Hashem, שתחזרו את לשלום את החיילים שלנו, our soldiers, should come in to the house with the peace, alive. should לבטל כל הגזרות לעם ישראל, nullify all the decrees from the Jewish nation. should stop all the מלחמות, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן. עובר על זה מה שכתוב בתורה, ועתה נתבהר איזה מצווה עשה רגיל לעבור מישהו איש קהילאי, מרחיק עצמו מידת החסד. He says how much a person he able to do kindness because he's not able to perform kindness. There's a reasoning why. מרחיק עצמו מידת החסד. He will stay away from the kindness. עובר על זה מה שכתוב בתורה והלכת בדרכיו. We have a positive commandments. We should go on a path of Hashem. שום מצווה עשה כוללת נצטוו בזה ללכת במידותיו של הקדוש ברוך הוא. We need to go on a path and a character of traits of הקדוש ברוך הוא. הם כולם רק טוב. הקדוש ברוך הוא only good. כדאמרו חז"ל, משהו רחום אף אתה רחום. Hashem is merciful, you have to be merciful. מהו חנון אף אתה חנון. He's being kindness, we need to be kindness. כיוצא בזה שאר המידות טובות ממורש בפירוש ברמב"ם, בספר מצוות מצוות חטא. Rambam has a 630 mitzvot that it counts. The mitzvah, which is the 8th mitzvah, כנכפלה המצווה הכוללת בדרכיו השמית בשמונה מקומות בחלק הדברים לבד. It says in ספר דברים, in a book דברים, we have 5 books, בראשית שמות ויקרא, במדבר דברים. It says in that ספר דברים 8 mitzvot, which is we're supposed to be go in the path of Hashem. השם יתברך בשמונה מקומות בחלק הדברים לבד. בהקדמה, זה מונע עצמו להטיב לרעהו בלי שום סיבה, מעכבו מזה, עובר מצווה עשה זה, שיזרז השם יתברך עליה בכמה מקומות בתורה. So if a person would not do good for his Jew fellow friend, and he would not do kindness, he would make a sin lo ta'aseh, which just means love. We're going to learn. עובר עוד מה שכתוב בתורה, מאמר מיוחד לעניין חסד. Says, also it says in Parashat Yitro about kindness. והודעת להם את הדרך ילכו בה. In the Torah says we should go on a path that Hashem is going to guide us. ואמרו חכמים בבא קמא. It says in the Talmud, in the Masechet בבא קמא, in page 100, בבא מציע in page 30. את הדרך גמילות חסדים. It says in the path of the Hashem, doing kindness. ביורו מכתב סתם את הדרך בה"א ידיעה ולא ביורו איזה דרך סתמה. So it says we should go on the path of Hashem. It says, does not says what means the path of Hashem. Hashem is so infinite, how can we go on the path of the Hashem? דרך כבושה אשר דרך בה אבינו ראשון של אברהם אבינו. Avraham Avinu was did the first mitzvah when Hashem tells him, you need to go in the land, and this is the land you're going to conquer, which just means HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him the Eretz Israel, the Holy Land. And through that Holy Land, he was walking. And whatever, south, north, east, west, whatever he was walking, that's the way Avraham Avinu conquered the land. By walking in the land, he says, this is the land that you're going to walk, and this is the land I'm giving it to you. שהיה דבוק כל ימיו במידת חסד כידוע. He says Avraham Avinu is our forefather, is the foundation that brings us kindness to each other, and he teaching us the kindness. כמרו זה כולל כל ענייני חסד בו איש לרעהו, אף גמילות חסדים אדם עושה בגופו. We have גמילות חסדים, kindness, do with our time. כגון ביקור חולים, visiting sick people, קבורת מתים, burying the people that is passed away. כאי גבנה דאית שם בגמרא, על כל פנים גמילות חסדים בממון, גם כן לא נפיק בכלל זה. It says we have a גמילות חסדים, also do with our money. ואם הלווה הוא איש שמטה ידו בהלוואה, או שהלווה עתה הוא יכול להחזיקו שלא ישתמד לגמרי, צריך לבריות, מונע עצמו מזה עובר עוד מה שכתוב בתורה. So it says, a person also needs to give a loan to the people money, but not to all the people. We just explained before in the previous shiurim, if the people are cheaters and liars, we cannot give them the money as a loan. So it says, כי ימוך אחיך, מטה ידו עמו החזקת בו, גר ותושב וחי אחיך, וחי עמך. So it says following like this. We're supposed to be, each one of us, if we have a store is kosher, which is means owned by the Jewish person, and you have a store that's owned by the other people, which is Gentiles, which store you're supposed to be first walk in? You're supposed to be walking to the Jewish store, because it says, V'chei imach achicha. You're supposed to be give substance and parnasa to your fellow Jew friend first. V'nemar v'chei achicha imach. It says, let your brother live with you. Who is your brother? נסתוו במצוות עשה זה להחזיק ביד אחינו שמח וליתן לו מתנה או לבאה או לעשות עמו שותפות או להמציא או לו מלאכה. 4 things we have to do with our Jew fellow that come to us. 4 things. Either we need to give him a loan, or make him a partner, or give him a job, or give him lumps of money that he should not go and beg for people for money. If somebody does not help his Jew friend, a fellow, which is means he would be having the mitzvah, which is positive mitzvah aseh, he will make a sin on it. Each one of us have an obligation to do 4 things to our Jewish fellow friend, which is means either give him a job, he doesn't have a job, either make him partner because he does not have a business. 3rd thing, either we have to give him a loan, a big sum of money, so we could go and progress in a business. So the question been asked many times, they be asking me, how can I make him a partner? He's a stealer, or he's on drugs. We don't talk about these type of people. If he's on drugs, he needs help. And if people on drugs and they cannot, you cannot bring him, there's the first thing we have to know, the Torah talks about it. We cannot jeopardize our business for other people that would do wrong by your business. That means each one of us, we have an obligation to help each other. That's what the Torah gives us, help each other. But the humanity is very hard to help each other. Why is that? Because one is jealous, one is not jealous, you would know what's happening. It's very hard, halacha. Why it's very hard? Because not everybody would do what it says over here in halacha. ועל כולם אומר, אבל כולם עובר על מצווה עשה מפורשת בתורה. הלוואה גופה, ומה שכתוב בתורה, אם כסף תלווה את עני עמך. It says you should give the money to the person that is ani, which means is poor in your nation. קבלו חז"ל דהי אם אינו רשות אלא חובה נסתוו בזה. It says, am I allowed to give him a loan? It's an option or it's a must? Our sages says, it's a must. ללוות לאחינו בעת דחוקם. When the people in need it, you need to must give him a loan money for him in order for him to be growing. So again, I said, if the people are liars and cheaters and they're going to steal the money, of course you're never going to give him the money. You should not give him the money. But if there's a normal people, normal family, he just needs help in money, we must help him to give him the money. It's not an option whether I have it or I don't have it. A lot of people don't have it, they just don't give it. בעת דחוקם נכפלה הזרה זו גם כרשת ראה. Same thing says in פרשת ראה, what it says, שכתוב שם, והבאת אביתנו, על הלוואה שמקות פה לשון אם. נראה דהו משום דקה על סיפה. תהיה כנושה, דהו דווקא כשמלווה לישראל ולא כלעני. Our sages says, the first people that we're supposed to be give the money loan to our Jew friend fellow. שכתוב עוד בזה לקמם בפרק א', ברתי הדינים שיש בזה יברן לקמם בפרקים באים אם רצה השם. He says we're going to continue to talk about this in a wider spread of the topic. הרי חשבו כמה לווים העושים רגיל לעבור על משהו איש כלי, מרחיק עצמו מידת חסד. If a person does not do kindness, he desecrates law, mitzvah, negative mitzvah from the Torah. So what does it mean? אף שכל הלווים עושים, אין רגיל לבוא בעניין אחד. כלומר אולי מעין, אף על שהוא רגיל חס ושלום במידה רע, שבשייך הזמן יבוא לכולם על כל שומר נפשו, ישמור עצמו ממידה רע הזאת. So it says, Chafetz Chaim, a person, if it does not do kindness, other sin he would do continuation, and a continuation, other sins would come to the person. מידה רע זו מאוד. If a person does not do kindness, it's very, very bad character and trait a person adopts. וילך בדרכיו השם יתברך הטוב מתיק דכתיב, ללכת בכל דרכיו. Hashem is only good and we're able to go on his path. בעבור זה תבוא עליו ברכה מאת השם יתברך. Whoever is going to do kindness, Hashem is going to send him a blessing, and that's guaranteed. That's guaranteed. The blessing is going to be directly from Hashem. מה שאמרו, אם הצדיק כי טוב, פרימה עליהם יאכלו. He says if a person is tzaddik, everybody is enjoying his fruits, that they're eating the fruits. ואתה תנחי בעזרת השם, המצווה עשה של הלוואה בכל ענייני פרטיה. He says, let's talk about everything that we said about giving loans to the people. דיני מצוות הלוואה. So we started with the דיני מצוות הלוואה, giving money to people as a loan. בו יבאר די מצווה עשה עם כסף תלווה, ועוד ענייני מידת החסד בפרטיהם י"ד סעיפים. He says there's a 14 chapters, how we're supposed to be learned in details, how we're supposed to give people loan, monetary loan to the people. מצווה עשה מן התורה ללוות ולעני. Positive mitzvah from the Torah. We're supposed to be lend to people money, to the people that are needed. It says over here, ani literally translated as a poor. Sometimes we say beautiful thing. You know what we say? Oh, he has a house, but he borrows the money. How can he has a house and he borrows the money? He should sell the house, he should move to the apartment, and he should not do what he needs to do. Okay, that's your analogy, that's your understanding, right? So that's what we're thinking. Achinu shenemar gam kesef tilve et ami et ani imach. He says, you should lend the money to your brother, Jew, fellow, to the poor person. He says, the Torah says, we must give money people loan. דרך ציווי. המצווה הגדולה יותר ממצוות הצדקה שאין אני בוש בדבר כל כך. He says, when we lend to people money, he does not get bosh, which means he does not get embarrassed. בדבר כל כך, בזה תומך ידו מחזיק אותו שלא יתמוטט לגמרי מקיים מה שכתוב. So when a person gives people money, lend to people money, what happens with it? It says, he does not get embarrassed, and he should not fall down. We should lichazek yado. We should strengthen his hand, which means we should strengthen everything that able should not able he fall. שלא ישתומד לגמרי, יתמומד לגמרי, מקיים בזה מה שמאמור כתוב, כי ימוך אחיך ומטה ידו עמך והחזקת בו. He says, strengthen the hand of the Jewish people, and they would strengthen by you, Hashem. דהיינו הזיך בו עוד שלא ייפול ויצטרך לבריות. He says, before he's going to fall and he's going to beg people for money. מצווה גם ללוות לעשיר לפי שעה בשעה שאין המאוד מצוי לו. Same thing, if a person is a rich, we also must give him the money to be lended. Why? Why the rich person does not have the money? שעה בשעה שאין מצוי, מאוד מצוי. Sometimes a rich person, he has his money tied up somewhere else, and he does not have money. And he says, can I borrow from you? זה גמילות חסדים נוהג בין עניים בין עשירים. This is גמילות חסדים, which is kindness to the poor and to the rich. אלא העני קודם לא בזה לקח פרט כתוב לעני במצווה. So you have two people, given to the rich person or to the person that is poor. He says the Torah first command, give to the poor. זה לא ידיענו כתוב זה רוצה אדם יותר ללוות לעשיר. Why the Torah says you first need to give to the poor before you're going to give to the rich? Because what most of the people would do? They would lend the money to the rich, not to the poor. Not only that, when he lends money to the rich guy, sometimes the rich guy also gives him good in advance, which means in the future, he has something to give, will give him business opportunities. Other good things would happen. From the poor guy, you can't get nothing unless you're going to just have your money back. Right? He says, when we lend the money to the rich people, the more guaranteed that the money will get returned to the person. Not only we should lend to people money, we should also, whatever the objects or tools they need, we should let them lend it to the person. He says everything comes from kindness. HaKadosh Baruch Hu desire for people to do kindness. HaKadosh Baruch Hu desire for kindness. The whole point we're learning how we're able to do good to our friend that we are from the Jewish nation. Hashem, he says, if a person is falling, we must give him money, so we should raise, and should, before he's going to fall down so quickly and fast, then it's very hard to pick him up. So like this, we're able to do kindness with him. So it says, what if a person is cheap? What does it mean, cheap? So a person, what he does, what does it mean, cheap? He takes only from people, but he does not give back to the people, which means he only wants, does not take back. He lies, he says he does not have it. He lies, he does not have it. He says, in the time of the Talmud, when he has a leprosy, he had to happen sarat, which means leprosy in his house. So the person says, I don't have it. So Hashem makes this situation to happen, where he takes all the vessel, everything out of his house, and everybody sees how much he lied to the people. Sometimes people lie to people that they say they don't have it. Then you see he gave the money to him, he gave to him, who gave to him, and all of a sudden all the things will come out to the water. במה דברים אומרים עשיר, אבל עני שבו לשאול ממנו איזה כלי ואשר חפש נחוץ לו, יש עליו חיוב גדול מצד הדין, לשאול לשאול, פן יש לו עתה במה. He says, there's two people coming, rich and poor. לקנות, שעריכו בזה ואיני רצונו להעריך קצת עניין מידת חסד. איך יתנהג בזה? הוא מצוי יותר, גם יש על זה מצווה עשה מיוחדת, לכן נעריך בפרט הזה. כמה יהיה עשיר חייב, מחייבה תורה ללוות איש לרעהו, לא מצאתי בעיני פירוש חז"ל. If a person comes, he wants to lend from people money. How much we should lend to people money? 1,000, 2,000. Torah does not give a shiur, which means it does not give how much is the amount we could lend to the people. Whatever the people could afford, that's how much they have to lend. There's no חומש מנכסיו, הוא נותן לחלוטין, אבל בהלוואה בו ממון בחזרה להפך. גם אין סברה לומר שכל ממונו שהם לעת עתה בטלת אצלו ייחוב תורה לחלק אותם לגמילות חסדים, פעם יזדמם לו איזה עסק רווחה ביתו, ולא יהיה לו ממון בידו. סתברא תלוי במצווה לכל אחד לפי עסק ידו. He says, how much we're supposed to be lent to people, it depends on people's pocket. כל אשר בכוחו לעשות לטובה חברו עושה במצוותו בעזרת השם. He says everybody is helping, we help each other. Hashem is helping us from the heavens, how everything comes apart. בספר החינוך כתב כי לעניין איך להתנהג לצד ידי שמיים. He says how we're supposed to fulfill the heavenly choice that we should lend people money. עוד משמע בחינוך שיעור הלוואה יהיה כפי מה שצריך לו אני עם ידו משגת באמת. ורש במקרא במקום, הבאת אביתנו פירוש חז"ל, דקאי הלוואה ושם מסיים מקרא. די מחסורו אשר יחסר לו. So whatever the person that he needed, the money, that's the money, the amount we're supposed to be given. כמה זמן הוא יחויב ללוות? How much time we're supposed to be give a person a loan? How much to lend money? How much time? מסתברא תלוי גם לאחד כפי השגת ידו. He says it all depends again to the individual person. אם אינו יכול ללוות רק זמן יום או יומיים, אין חיוב יותר. So what if a person says, I will give you money for a day or two, or for 2 weeks, or for the month? It all depends on a person. להפך, אם יבקש לבוות ממנו יותר מ-30 יום, ואדם מסר ללווה, נראה שצריך ללוות לו. So if a person needs within 30 days, give him within 30 days. אין שיעור למצוות גמילות חסדים. It says kindness, there's no beginning and end. אפילו 100 פעמים לא ירא לבבו. He says even people will come into you 100 times, we should lend to people money. And he says your heart should not thinking, how come he came to me 100 times? 100 times comes in, 100 times, you're making 100 times mitzvah, aseh min Torah, positive mitzvah from the Torah. כמה מטריח עליי האיש הזה תמיד לקחת מעוד ופירעון. He says, how many times this kid or this guy borrows from me money, gives me back, pays back, borrows back, lending, come back again. Why? Can it be enough? כמה שאינו כועס על מישהו דופק תמיד עד פתחי חנותו ליתן לו רווח בעסקו. He says, does a person, he has a business, and in somebody in his business knocking on the door as a customer, does he get upset at his customer? No. Why? Because his customer is giving him rivecha, which means he gives him parnasa. So, וידע כל פעם שהוא מקיים מצווה עשה מדאורייתא. He says, each time we lend to people money, we're making positive mitzvah from the Torah. ויבוא לה ברכה מאת Hashem. The blessing will come from Hashem. Or if I'm going to give him 100K, he's going to know how much money I'm going to have. So he's going to put ain hara in my money. He's going to put a bad eye in my money. I'm not giving it to him. That's what the Yetzer Hara says. Then all of a sudden you remember ain hara. All of a sudden you remember all the segulot. Whatever the Torah says, a person leolam lo nizak. Person never be discouraged. Whatever the Torah says, of course, has to be everything properly done, which means we're not talking about, there's a lot of people who are liars and cheaters, unfortunately. They will borrow the money. They will lend the money. They will not pay it. If you have a suspect on those people, you must take a collateral. Torah is spoken very widely about it. We cannot just close with our own eyes and we say, right here we just heard a shiur doing kindness with another Jew by lending money. Then all of a sudden the guy does not pick up the phone or he just runs away. Like this type of people, you don't deal with them. Or you don't know them, we're not allowed to lend the money. People come in and they say, can I borrow the money? Or can I lend from you money? You don't know them. You don't know them. You don't have to give it to them. You have to know them in order for you to give it to them. If we don't know them, we don't know who they are, what kind of cheaters and liars, and that happens through the generation and generation. Unless he really wants it, take a collateral. If a person giving 100K, make sure we're going to take the merchandise within 100K to that person. ולא יירא לבבך בביתך לו, ביתך לו, בגלל הדבר הזה יברך השם אלוקיך. He says you should not be bad-hearted by not lending to people. And he says because of that, you're not being bad-hearted, Hashem is going to bless you. Everything is in the Torah. חיוב חייב לתורה ללוות איש לרעהו בין על המשכון, בין בלי משכון. So he says, mashkon. He says Torah tells us we need to lend to people money, either with the collateral or without the collateral. אם הוא בטוח בעיניו, אם הלווה בלי משכון, על כל פנים ילוו לפני עדים, או שייתן לו שטר חוב, על כל פנים כתביעת יד, אף שהוא בטוח בעיניו, שמא ישכח יבוא לכפור בו. So if a person is given loan, it's good to give loan with the witnesses. Why? So tomorrow he does not forget. Second thing, with the shtar, write it down. I'm Moshe. I'm giving the money to Reuben, 100K. He's returning to me in a month or 2 or year, whatever the process is. And every time the money in his hand, every day he's making mitzvah aseh, positive mitzvah from the Torah. אם הוא מכיר בלווה שהוא בעל המידה רע, אינו מקפיד על ממון אחרים. מעותיו יהיו קלים אצלו ולא ימצא ממה לגבות מוטב שלא ילוו, בלי שום משכון. Like we said it before, Chafetz Chaim says, if a person, he borrows money from other people and he's continue borrowing, he says you don't have to give it to him. You don't have to give it to him. Okay? And he says, what if there's a, he does not want to give a collateral, we cannot give it to him. It's also, we're not allowed to precede that people that owns other people money. So people take an advantage. In the Torah says you should not precede that people owe you money. So people take an advantage. You gave the money, you gave the person the money. He does not text you, does not tell you, hello, I gave you in a month. He does not call you in a month. He's not telling you, listen, I got stuck and I have a couple more days or a couple more weeks. Please give me more time. He just disappears and that's it. A person has to know if he said 1 or 2 months or 3 months or whatever it is the time, he needs to be himself, call the other guy. When a person borrows the money, right? How does he come? He comes nice, with a smile. Can I have it? Can I borrow it? When he gives, how does he give back? Upset. Not only upset, he starts criticizing the other person. Oh, he gave it to me. Look at him. He's keep calling me. He does not leave me alone. Then what do we say? All right, I know I do this mitzvah. Look, I became bad because I gave somebody a loan. That's what the Yetzer Hara says. Yeah. Never do mitzvot. If like this, a person should never do mitzvot. Chas v'chashalom. That's what a person says. I will not do mitzvot. Why should I do? Look, I became bad. You make a mitzvah positive from Torah, that's all that matters. Whatever happened by the way, it just happened. It's okay. Chafetz Chaim says, in a business, kindness, right? If a person have a business, and he does in the end of the year, through the accounting, he does the loss and the profit. When he have the profit in a business, what is he looking? At the loss or at the profit? At the profit he's looking. Why is he not looking at the loss? Why can't he say, I'm closing my business, I have a loss, about 5-10%, but I have a 90% of the profit. Does he ever going to close his business? Never. So same thing is in a gminut chasadim, in a kindness. A person does kindness, sometimes have a loss, 5-10%. But overall, the Chafetz Chaim says, the business is great. Same thing is the kindness. Kindness is great. We should not stop doing it because we have a couple rotten apples or a couple bad food on a table. It doesn't mean we should not continue doing kindness. אם בא שמעון אצל ראובן ואמר הלווני מנה, אבל תדע שלא אוכל לפרוע לך בבת אחד אם מיד. אינו מחויב ללוות לא באופן מצד הדין. So it says following. Shimon came to the Reuben and he says, let me borrow from you, hypothetically speaking, $5,000. So he says, I'm going to pay you $5,000 with the 50 months. I'm going to give you $50 a month. He says, you don't have to give him the loan. You don't have to give him the loan. Because he's giving you little bit by little bit. We say he puts him in a so-called mode, in a mode of nobody wants to give him more money. אבל מצד הגדר האהבה והאחווה נכון להיטיב גם באופן זה. But if a person could afford such a thing, and he loves him so much, and he says, I want to borrow from you $5,000 and I'm going to give you $50 a month, or whatever the between them contract. He says, if you love him so much, you're allowed. But according to the halacha, according to the law, if somebody lends somebody money and he says, I will pay you a little bit by little bit, we don't have to give him no loan whatsoever, unless you have a enormous amount of love for him. אם הבדיחה לישראל לעבוד סחמה, ישראל לחזור בו, הוא הכל קבלה דבריו מצווה יקמם בו, ביורד יהיה סימן רש י"ג, שאסור לחזור בו. בנתיב החסד להשאיר לזמן מרובה, ואין לו על מצוות עשה, אין שייך בזה גם נדר. מכל מקום הוא יודע ששמח דעתו עליו, נכון להיזהר בזה כדי שלא יהיה בכלל מחסרי אמנה. So when a person takes people from people, borrows money, make sure we're going to pay on time. If we're not able to pay on time, we need to tell them in advance. A lot of people would take money and they would not tell people that they're taking in a long time, that they said longer than they said. He says they're losing the trust. Once they're losing the trust, it becomes a big problem for the people. A lot of people would not borrow to another people because of that. So I had a situation about maybe 7-8 years ago. There's a guy came in. He's a big Talmid Chacham. He finished Shas a couple times. He was also a well-known figure in a community in Eretz Israel. He was giving public shiurim, public lectures. So he borrowed from me $15K. Religious, everything, prays 3 times. You guys name it. He's a rabbi, you name it, everything. And he says, my brother is getting married. And my father had an operation. So I gave him for operation money. He gave me back the money. Then he says, as soon as my brother is getting married, after a day he's getting married, I'll give you the money back. So his brother got married. The same day that he got married, he got divorced the same day, his brother. So the money that's supposed to be given to me, after one day, after 1 year, turned to 5 to 6 years in order to get my money back. What I'm thinking to myself, why would I even ever in my life give to people? Then I have to run, I have to make a phone calls all the time. The guy just running and he makes all different type of excuses. It doesn't mean if a people borrow from you or lend it and it happen those bad things, a person should continue, if he has ability to do, continue to do chesed, kindness. He needs to continue doing kindness. ודע מצוות עשה זה הלוואה אינו אלא כי יש בידו מאוד מזומנים, אבל אין בידו מאוד, אין מחייב ללכת ללוות כדי ללוות. There's another punchline the Chafetz Chaim says. A person, he does not have money. But he says, I know this ABC, I'm going to go borrow from people and I'm going to give it to you as a loan. He says, according to the law, he does not must to do it. אינו מחייב ללכת כדי לעבוד שהוא בטוח בעיניו, שהוא נותן לו משכון, ולא מצד החסד בעלמא. אם יש לו מאוד בהלוואה אצל אחר, הגיע הזמן פירעון, יש אומרים, זה מקרה כאילו יש מאוד מזומנים. He says, what if a person, he lent to somebody money, and the time came in, and he needs to pay, and somebody else is asking for the money to be lended. So he says, consider like you have a cash in your hands. כן צריך ליטול מאוד ללוות מזה, מבקש ללווה, וכל שכן יש מאוד בפיקדון אצל אחר, בוודאי לכולה עלמא אין לו לפתור עצמו לעבוד מחמת שהם בביתו פיקדון, כל דהי, ברשותי דאמרי אתא, אלא צריך ללכת ליטול ללוות. So if a person has money, and he gave the mashkon, which just means he has the collateral. So the guy brings the money and he says, give me back my collateral. The guy says, I'm not going to the house to bring you the collateral, give me the money. So he gave him the money. Now he needs to give him the collateral. So because of that, he does not borrow to other people, lend to other people money. ואם יתעצל בזה צריך מדינה ללוות אצל אחר כדי ללוות לזה. שיש מאוד בביתו גופה, אין רוצה ללוות מפני כתיתת ביתו. בוודאי צריך ללוות עצר אחר כדי ללוות. החלוי בעמוד, באמת יש לו מאוד וחל עליו חיות מצווה עשה. What if he's going to go to the house and he says he's going to have a problem in the house? Should he take the collateral? Should not take the collateral? He said he should take the collateral and give back the money to the people. בעזרת השם, Hashem should give us ברכה, הצלחה, בריאות, הרבה נחת. Should we see a lot of גמילות חסדים בזמן הזה, שבקדוש ברוך הוא, תודה רבה על ההקשבה. Thank you very much for listening. בעזרת השם, ראש חודש טוב to everybody. Thank you very much.